วนกูวันนี่นะคำนั้นจะวนมันคำเดียวเพราะวนยาวเนี่ยนะเพราะวนตัดตัวเขาให้ทำอะไรเนี่ยทำเป็นอัตตาคนมีผมมีอัตตาคนนั้นมันมีลงใจขึ้นใจลงอันใจตกนั้นตกของอัตตาเนี่ยขอบรรณาทำที่ไรเหตุสิ่งเนี่ยเขาวนอันเปิดเหตุดีเนี่ยเขาวนอันพ่อแม่เขาขัดใจอันโอ้ยกลัวเขาแสบสมองขัดใจเนี่ยเขาวนถึงเขาวนถึงเหมือนเส้นคำในที่เขาอันหยาบนั่นนะเอาโกนอันแข่งกันโกนอันแมนกันฉะนั้นเขาวนตรงดีเขาพอวนอะไรที่ไหนเนี่ยมีสังที่ให้เขาเจอตัวนั่นนะเหมือนจังนั้นเมืองอเมริกานั้นเป็นเมืองคนขาวนะเมืองคนขาวคนลำเนี่ยเป็นว้าห่างดีเมื่อพ้นมา3-4 ปีเนี่ยมีคนลำนะเลยนางงามมันเนี่ยเป็นนางงามในนางงามอเมริกันมันยามเป็นลูกศิษย์นะยามเป็นลูกศิษย์มันคนโกงว่าอาสูแน่ๆห่างดีเนี่ยเป็นนางงามแต่มันก็ออกมาเลยมาห่างแค่เนี่ยเขาเลิกนางงามมันเนี่ยปีก็ไม่ได้2 ปีไม่ได้3 ปีไม่ได้4 ปีไม่ได้5 ปีไม่ได้6 ปีไม่ได้ตกกูปีอ่ะนะปีที่7มาตั้งแต่แล้วปีที่7มาตั้งแต่แล้วยินสุดเนี่ยขอบทางมันไหลก็เพราะมันหมกปันแห้งตัวเก่านั่นมันปันแห้งตัวเก่าในมุติตาเนี่ยอันเก่าวนลองเปิดในที่เตนึงเป็นการปันแห้งตัวเก่านะวนตัวลูกในอันคนคัดใจนำหนาที่ท่านจอมพุทธาเมืองไทยเขาเนี่ยนักข่าวต่าง4 ปีในเหตุให้พอเปลี่ยนมาจากไหนให้กลุ่มมึงพอยอมรับไหนก็บอกเขามีคนคัดใจนำนะพระเจ้าเช่าเขาเห็นจังไหนไอ้วนอันดีมันจังไหน That's about self-inspiration. Sometimes when he works hard and he doesn't think he was making any progress, so he feels discouraged. So I say mudita is about self-inspiration, self-encouragement.
from those people, I only see my worries, because I see those people that give suffering to people around when they have the authority. And then if they get see a new position to take care of the, let's say, organization, and then I will start to worry how the people will take care of those people under them. Would they give suffering to those people? I know initially they want to do something good to the organization or the people, but then I see that they do not have enough patience, that when people do not follow what they say, they start to use force to those people and punish them immediately. Do not have enough patience. Then the things that I'm worried, these people with the new position, how the people around would suffering from their power of authority, that I couldn't have believed that. I start to worry about the other people around, what will happen to them.
Well, as you can see, doing mudita for ourselves, unless we stop there and do mudita just for ourselves, it will not encourage ego. Like this evening, we focus on two groups. First is ourselves, the first group. The second group, the people we have tension with. So if we can feel mudita for those people we find it difficult, our ego is less and less. I want you to look at ego in terms of fear. In terms of fear. Why we behave selfishly, why people to behave in a way that have no consideration for other people. That's because they are so occupied with themselves, because of fear. Fear means they are not able to connect with people around them. And so, I'll be talking more about this when we do karuna. But now we do mudita. Let's return to mudita. For a difficult person that you describe, my take is that you have to be realistic that people have shortcomings. But mudita is about looking any positive things in them. Any positive things in them. Otherwise, we will give up on those people. You look at the Buddha, he didn't give up on Ajatasattu. Okay, King Ajatasattu, when he was a prince, as we all know, he killed his father. His father was very close to the Buddha. One of the great benefactors of the Buddha. The Buddha had an option to choose to focus only on negative things about him, and never had anything to do with him again, ever again. The Buddha had that option. But instead, the Buddha believed in him, in him as a human being, that human beings are able to reform themselves. There are things that the Buddha couldn't do. But because of this positive thinking, the Buddha treated him without prejudice when he came to see the Buddha. That was a very important lesson for us to see. Another thing, Angulimala. He killed 999 people according to the story. For someone just to have murdered one person, we don't want to have anything to do with that person ever again. But now, 999, not only that, the king would send an army to capture him, to kill him. And the whole county, the whole country, they were afraid of him. Whenever they went, they would go in a group of 10, 20, 30, like that. So he was a person that everybody hated. The fact that the Buddha still has something for him, to use a more poetic description, the Buddha still had a soft spot for him. You see? I find this to be some of the best emotion management that the Buddha did. So his karuna and his mudita knew no boundaries, limitless. Manasang bhavaye abhrimanang vichale in the Metta Sutta. So our mudita had to be tested against that kind of difficult people. The Buddha still believed in him. The Buddha believed in him. Negativities and evil deeds, there would be a way to change him. That belief, that positive thinking, I attribute this to both karuna and mudita. To both karuna and mudita. The Buddha didn't give up. Usually in our case, we run out of patience. This is an expression we usually say, we run out of patience. Actually, we run out of compassion, we run out of mudita. At that moment, we don't believe in ourselves that we can have any positive influence on that person. And we also don't believe that that person still has some potential to change for the better. So, when we look at a person, when we see just negativity, we need to check our perception. We need to check our emotion. Whether our emotion is dominated entirely by negative bias, by frustration, by rejection, we need to be aware of that. If we become aware of that, we need to stop karuna and mudita for a while and then bring in vipassana, the non-judgmental mindfulness. Look at this. Look at this pain, because this pain, to be looking at someone like that.
It's very interesting actually to think about people with whom I have competed. And interestingly, I see that they are friends, and maybe very close friends,
No, no.
I think just by repeated practice, it can be established in the mind. But when I also found it difficult actually to find people whom I don't like or who don't like me. And it's not because there are no such people. I think maybe the mind doesn't want to think about. So I have to search quite a bit. And then I remember we were, well, we were not very close friends, but we were many people together. And it was very difficult actually, until I started to practice metta first, because I realized I don't have any friendly feeling toward the person. So if there is no metta, then I see that I cannot feel any mudita. So would it be the case then that we, first of all, have to have this basic friendly feeling to any being, to be able to feel, to cultivate mudita?
It's very unusual that I start with mudita first. With people, with group of practitioners, I usually start with karuna. I would agree with you. If you want to do metta first, that's your foundation, then you should do that. What it gives you is that metta gives you concentration, and it orientates your mind towards other people. Metta, karuna, mudita, upekkha is about orientating towards other people, pain and joy. But this orientation can only be sustainable if we don't forget ourselves. Because a lot of hearts are wounded hearts, and they need healing. They need healing. So if we don't heal ourselves, if we don't look at our painful hearts, it's not possible to connect with the other wounded hearts. That's for karuna. The same is for mudita. We need to be able to connect with our own positivity. To do that, you can start with vipassana, you can start with samatha, you can start with anapan, you can start with metta. It's all okay.
I just feel that I have to, if I'm not wishing well to this person, how can I feel any, mudita?
My understanding of mudita, metta, karuna, mudita is that metta covers both karuna and mudita. I explained the other day. The reason I do this is based on the Abhidhamma approach. We look at the object. Karuna takes a painful object, mudita, a pleasant one. And metta takes both objects. Both objects. That is why metta is equal to both karuna and mudita. So when you wish somebody well, mudita is part of it. But what I'm doing is a little bit more specific to base our experience on real life, real experience. To go through our life, the people we have come across, because it's very important to recognize trauma and heal them. Heal them. And this is one of the ways to do that. We can look at trauma as dukkha satya. And healing this is magga satya. And when we try to do mudita on someone, if we can't do it, if we find it difficult to do, that means mudita is diagnosing the roots, the causes why we can't do this. So that's samudaya sajja. By doing this, when healing is taking place bit by bit, you can see we are not there at Nirodha Sajja yet, but it's on the way.
I think sometimes we just have to emphasize that mudita is not only joy but the appreciation.
Yeah. Sure, appreciation is part of it. Yeah.
So in dealing with the competitive people, that I think I would say that appreciation is more relevant because we use the sympathetic feeling because we compare with each other, and each of us, so we just would like to win to get this place. So, and instead of we are running, and also we also place ourselves to that place and see. So that
We put ourselves in his place, in his shoe,
yes.
and look at this situation.
So in that sense, that the appreciation is clear.
Sure. That's to look at their hard work, that they have the same inspiration, to appreciate that. If we appreciate that, then we will be able to appreciate their success. Exactly. You want microphone? No.
Thank you very much, Senator. This is, I agree, today is more specific than yesterday. So yesterday we have just the conflict. So we have to cultivate mudita towards conflicts. But today is really challenging. This is on our trauma. So the traumas I had came up. And so this is a good chance for me to heal. So I feel like I'm a little bit ready now because I could cultivate myself, mudita myself, and then I can contemplate mudita towards the colleagues, the peer-to-peer, up and down. And now I feel like I'm a little bit ready to heal the serious case. Because yes, of course I have people I compete, whom I compete, and they compete as well. So I have. So some of the cases are really serious and it's trauma, really trauma. It's sometimes pain or respect, or sometimes look down or something. So I didn't know that it was my trauma, but today I know this is trauma to me. Then I look at the case, and then now I understand is mudita helped me to forgive those people very easily than before, easier than before. This is I understand today. And my question is, I'm interested in teaching meditations, so I always check why you are teaching in this way and how you are teaching. I'm always I'm really interested in your guidance as well. So I'm not sure. Please let me confirm with you. You are now teaching us psychologically, not in a traditional way. Really, like step by step, we are taking out our trauma bit by bit, and then we are healing bit by bit. This is very psychological, I think. So please, I'm not sure if it's correct or not. And my question is, so do you think that kind of psychological teaching we use in meditation is useful for the people or not?
I'm ready to give away my secret. Branko, do you have any comment on this question?
For me, this style of psychological meditation is easier than when you mentioned 10 minutes ago Abhidhamma, I shocked. So yes, I like this kind of this style of teaching.
I actually got into this without intention. I was given, on the very first day, the responsibility to run weekly meditation classes every Tuesday in London, North London, is a Sri Lankan Vihara. They invited me to London, and I did that, to the best of my ability. I prepared, I did everything. For 6 months, there were only 2. Another was Gloria Blake, who is a Malaysian Chinese migrated to England. After 6 months, first they were observing. After 6 months, they asked me a question. We like your teaching, but why no one comes to your class? I said, I don't know, you tell me. I don't know, you tell me. And they said, you need to know the psychology of the people in London. They need something specific. So you can't say that you have meditation every week. You have to say that you're going to have meditation for 4 weeks, and then you start another 4 weeks. 10 weeks, then you start another 10 weeks. People, they need that kind of specific time frame. Okay, I do that. And what else you advise me? Both of them, they have been to many Tibetan centers. You see, the Tibetan monks, they declare the topic first. Which day, what you're going to be learning, and how long the talk will be, and then how long will we sit, and how much time we have for Q&A. You need to mention it. He said, okay, I do it. That is why I got this habit. In Myanmar, maybe at the moment I'm the only one who announced the topic of Dhamma talk in Burmese in advance. I got this since 96, 24 years. So I would do that. When I do that, in the first attempt, yes, of course, many people came. But I was still speaking very traditionally, according to Mahasi, according to Mogul, the way that I have been told, and a little bit Katewai, like that. In the meantime, I learn from their questions. They ask all sorts of questions. I try to answer their question. So, without knowing, I got into psychology. Because they are very much psychology oriented. They are so learned psychologically. I started reading about emotion since 1996. One of the simile that I use, like emotion is like a wild animal. I learned that since 1996. I've been using it for more than 2 decades. Of course, those days there were not mindfulness movement. I was joking with a teacher from a high school nearby, Barbara Jones, because she was helping me to put up the notices, the meditation notices. And then she invited me to her school to speak to the kids. Then we need to expand to 2 days, Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday for beginners, Wednesday for more advanced people. And I started joking with her, Barbara, if the NHS, there's National Health Service, that's the whole hospital. If the NHS is going to make use of meditation in hospital, I'm going to protest it. Now it happens. In all England hospitals, the National Institute for Clinical Excellence, that's the body, the scientific body that controls, that determines what can be used and what can't be used in hospitals. They decided since about 6 or 7 years ago that meditation can be used in hospitals. And of course, being exposed to Western audience all the time, you cannot avoid. You cannot avoid learning about psychology. Actually, Venerable Bhikkhu Bodhi told me when I went to see him in Sri Lanka, that was a while ago, maybe nearly 20 years ago. From England, I went to see him in Kandy. He said, without knowing philosophy and psychology, we cannot understand the Buddha properly. So what the meditation teachers in Myanmar are teaching, although they don't use the word psychology, they don't employ Western psychology, what they're teaching is one form of psychology. So now I have given you all my secret. Okay. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. For tomorrow, if you can prepare a projector,